all eyes turn to Bendigo as the rampaging Spirit host the Sydney Flames.
It's all about the finals. It's here. Can't wait to see these two teams do battle.
George catches one-on-one here with Griffin. Banks it in, count the points, and she'll go to the line for an extra. Wickham is hotter.
That was too easy.
All been Bendigo since the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. It's Bendigo 51, Sydney 28, half-time. High pulls the trigger. That is a gritty three-point shot from Talia Tobias. Connie Dees hits the three. Pittman for Dale, and their hot run continues. Can you believe it? They've got this to under 10 points. Still a glimmer of hope, but Bendigo set up another convincing win with an almighty first half blitz.
Super excited to be a part of this. You could tell the fans, showed up for us. We're really excited about the moment too. So yeah, that was just one game, but we're thrilled that we were able to do that here.
The second half showed what we're capable of, only 9 points. It's exciting and fun, so we can't wait to go back home and play another game.
The Signet WNBL semi-final series continues in the Harbour City, and the equation for the home team is simple. Win and the Flames force a Game 3. Lose and their season is over. Sydney's been super brave in the face of grand adversity this year, but to keep its season alive, it would have to produce its most courageous win yet. For the Bendigo Spirit are humming, they're at full strength, and they're now 1 win away from a WNBL Grand Final Series. Hello and welcome to the ESPN Finals Series, brought to you by Ford. Ben Waterworth with you, alongside two of the sharpest minds in Australian basketball, superstar high-performance coach Zoe Carr and the 12-timer Carrie Graff. Zoe, firstly to you, as we mentioned, Sydney undermanned. It would take a mighty effort to cause an upset tonight.
It would. They are definitely depleted, and they've battled that all season. But I'm really excited to see what sort of strategies Coach Guy Malloy is going to go with to really try and take it to the season leaders of the Bendigo Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely, Zoe. I mean, but how much can you throw at them? Do you throw a box and one? Do you go 5-man switching? It's hard to change things up when you're that depleted and you've got a young group out there playing. Maybe they've got to stick stock standard.
Well, let's put some context around this game and have a look at the semi-finals series, the win-loss ratios, and what a performance from the Townsville Fire. The big win over Perth in game 1 of the semi-final series. Then last night, as comprehensive as it gets, 106 points for them. They're through to another grand final series. Bendigo can join them tonight if they beat the Flames after beating Sydney by 9 points only a couple of nights ago. So a big game coming up right here on ESPN as we turn our attention to one of the stars of the Bendigo Spirit, in particular, Sammy Wickham. The MVP, Carrie Graff, is in some super hot form at the moment. She racked up just a lazy double-double.
Yeah, I mean, she's unbelievable. She's all class. She can score in multiple ways. She's an unbelievable three-point shooter. She can get in deep. She plays 2 tempos, a master of the pick and roll. She's a tough guard.
She is, and her leadership and IQ is second to none. So she's not only bringing on-court experience, but also that off-court as well.
She's in stellar form, Sammy Wickham. The thing is, if one Bendigo guard doesn't get you, the other one might, Zoe Carr. Veronica Burton has been a revelation as an import for the Bendigo Spirit this season. Bendigo haven't been renowned for getting the big-name imports over recent seasons, but this is a big, big tick for Kennedy Kariyama.
Absolutely. She is a genuine two-way player. She gets scores on the board, particularly big scores at times when they need it. But down the other end of the floor, she is a contender for Defensive Player of the Year, and she's getting stops left and right.
Yeah, and that's special for an import. With all due respects to the wonderful WNBA imports, she does that great.
She was a really well-balanced player offensively and defensively. The Spirit have been superbly coached by Kennedy Kariyama all season, and he caught up a little earlier on with Nathan Stremple.
Kennedy, you've had just about a perfect season. Does that put a bit of a target on your back coming into the finals?
Oh, look, I think probably it's fair to say we've had a target on our back all season long. So, I mean, it doesn't change how we prepare every week and prepare for each game. We give every team the same level of respect. But obviously, this being the business end, this is, where all that work counts.
Knowing that Townsville's waiting for the winner of this series, does that put extra impetus on trying to wrap it up tonight?
Look, I mean, I think every team probably in any 3-game series would like to wrap it up in 2. So I think, that's certainly the focus for us. Obviously, having 1 in the bag is great, but we still know there's a lot of work to be done, obviously, before we can start focusing on what's potentially in front of us.
We look forward to you going and get it tonight. All the best.
Thank you very much.
And it was a funny kind of vibe post-game from game 1 of this semi-final series because Bendigo won by 9 points, Carrie Graff, but were actually outscored 39-27 in the second half, and almost it was as if Sydney left that venue glass half full and Bendigo glass half empty.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You've hit the nail on the head there, Ben. I think Sydney were a little shell-shocked in the first half. Young group, final series, not much finals experience other than George and Tapia. But they, they put it all on the floor in that third quarter in particular. Coach Guy Malloy just implored them, say, can we win this third quarter? Defensive intensity, they had a great crack.
Yeah, and a lot of that comeback was fueled by their youngsters, and that's who they've got on the floor, the majority of that tonight. So they'll go in with confidence because of that second half.
And a couple of those youngsters will have to step up into the starting 5. We'll have that news for you in just a few moments. But Guy Malloy, the Sydney Flames coach, caught up with Nathan just a few moments ago.
I'm very, very proud of the team. We've obviously suffered a lot of adversity through the year, but everyone keeps playing hard, competing, playing a level of defence I'm happy with, and it should be a fun game tonight.
The team reminds me of when there's one kid left in a game of bull rush, but they somehow find a way to get it done. You appear to keep finding a way.
Well, from unexpected quarters, to be honest, I mean, we're the top rotation of players tonight, I don't think would have appeared on anyone's scouting report in round 1. So just testament to the effort of the girls, what they're putting in, what the Flames means to them, and we just really want our culture to shine out.
We look forward to seeing you find a way tonight.
Thanks, mate.
Great to have the thoughts of Guy Malloy. As he mentioned, it's a very different looking lineup tonight compared to what it was early in this season. Gosh, Zoe, they would love to have that player out there tonight, shooting from three-point land. Shanice Swain, unfortunately, out. She wanted to come back at the start of that third quarter in the game on Sunday, but it just wasn't clicking for her. And she was pretty devastated, has to be said, on the bench.
Absolutely. You work the whole season to get to this point, and to be able to play finals basketball and to have an injury take you out is quite devastating. But there's a lot to be happy for in her future that she needs to make sure she's right for.
Yeah, I mean, how do you find Swain points? Like, Kayla George has got to crank it, Tapaya's got to crank it. Tough challenge.
It will be a very tough challenge indeed. So she misses with injury tonight. Nathan Strempel is courtside with more details on Shanice Swain because he's a serious out for the Flames tonight, Nate.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate the inquiry and exciting news. As Zoe alluded to, big things in the future of Shanice Swain. We've just seen her listed in the Opal squad as Lauren Jackson just almost ran across camera. Great to see her courtside in a Flames singlet. So Opal squad, obviously the LA Sparks coming up, and exciting news in terms of she's had scans and no new damage there, and she's being assessed day by day. So not able to play tonight, but the fact that they are looking at her daily is exciting to know with such big things in the future. But what it does is create even more mystery around this Flames side. It's incredible to see the resilience they've shown all season. Kayla George has been out at times, but is back tonight. Yamaya Morris is back. Talia Tupaya looked like she was labouring in game 1, but they've continued to find a way. It was Caitlin Martland the other night. So I'm excited tonight to see them go against a reasonably settled Bendigo group and look at what rabbits they can pull out of the hat.
So many players have gone down with injury for the Sydney Flames this season. Guy Malloy mentioned after the game on Sunday that Kayla George was effectively on 1 foot as well, Carrie. It's a very different looking starting 5 with a bit of a change with Shanice Swain going out.
Yeah, that it is. And I mean, that's a void you can't fill. I mean, we've got to be honest here. We can wish and hope, but they aren't winning strategies. This team have got to put their energy into defence and then, see what they can do to limit the unbelievable scoring punch that Bendigo have all over the floor.
Bonnie Dees gets her 3rd start of the season. Carla Pittman gets the start tonight as well. Just her 6th start of this WNBL campaign, but she has been really impressive off the bench for the Sydney Flames. As we turn our attention to the Bendigo Spirit, and no surprises at all, Zoe, when their starting 5 land, and then you add in Abby Werung off the bench as the 6th woman of the year as well. It is as star-studded as it gets in this league.
It is, but it's also been consistent. They've had this starting five for the majority of the season, and then you've got those impact players coming off of the bench. So, they'll be really looking forward to consolidating their form here and trying to make sure they end this and don't have a repeat of the second half of game one.
Zoe, you spent a little bit of time alongside Kennedy Kariyama as we have a look at our referees for tonight. Ruben Woolcock, Maddie Crowley-Long and Kalia Hanks. When you're such heavy favourites as well, what do you think the message would be from Kennedy to one of the most experienced rosters in the WNBL we've seen for quite some time?
I think it'll just be about their standards and making sure that their standards and their behaviours match what they want to be and what they want to be known for. It's one of the things that you could say did drop off in that second half. And, if they play to their potential and to their standards for the entire game, realistically, they shouldn't have an issue in this game. But those sort of things, those pressure to be the front runner, pressure to be the favourite, can come into play. But I wouldn't think that an experienced lineup, particularly like this one, is going to be affected by that.
And not after the second half last week. For them, it's about laser-sharp championship-style focus.
They've been fast starters all season, the Bendigo Spirit, but especially against the Flames. They're 4-0 against Sydney across the regular season and the semi-finals as well. Each time in all four of those games, the Spirit have had a significant advantage at quarter time. 11 points in round 3, 7 points round 10, 7 points round 11 and 12 points a few nights ago. So from a Sydney Flames perspective, Carrie, it really is a nothing-to-lose attitude for them tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got to climb Everest, but people do climb Everest.
That's right. Great to have the thoughts of Zoe Carr, Carrie Graff for Thursday night Signet WNBL hoops. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching. The Flames with first possession, and Kayla George gives the Flames the perfect start.
And that's what they need. She's got to step up big. She's got to get a double-double tonight. Absolutely. Get on the rim, hit her perimeter shots. Great start for the captain.
Almost a turnover. Yes, it is a turnover. For the Sydney Flames, they create one. Brand Catasano thought about the three-point shot. Then it opened up for her and scores the bucket.
And this is a similar start for the Flames too last week. They shot out of the blocks early, and then Bendigo were able to draw them back. The challenge for them is going to be able to keep this tempo and this game style.
Wilson hits the floor for the Spirit as Burton goes to work. Gets the screen from Tolo. Wilson puts it up and knocks down the triple.
The fifth cog of this starting five lineup. You can't leave her wide open. You've got to pick your poison, but that veteran is a three-point specialist.
Points now in 19 of her 22 games this season. Pittman has the start tonight, and she has an early triple.
And outstanding from the youngster too, on such a big stage, getting a first final start to be able to knock that down early and just give the Flames a little bit of an exhale.
Had the 6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in that game against Bendigo. One of those young players standing up on Sunday. Burton closely guarded here by Dees, just keeps it inbounds. Tolo has 2 to shoot, and well off target in the end. Promising start here by the Flames on defence.
And that's the thing they can do. They can play loose. They've just got to go out there and have a crack, play free, play hard.
George catches one-on-one here with Griffin. What a matchup that is. Fading away, and they can't miss early, the Sydney Flames.
And getting the ball into Kayla George needs to be a priority. As you said, Graffy, she's got to have a big game tonight for the Flames to have a chance. But to do that, she needs to receive the ball from her guards.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the post go one-on-one down low.
Kicks it out now to Burton, who drives along the baseline. Great defence to Pyer. Wilson has to put up the three again. Can't connect. And the stop for the Flames as Brand Catasano brings down the rebound.
Interestingly, Sammy Wickham hasn't had a touch offensively yet.
It's 13-8 in favour of Bendigo a few nights ago. Tapia gets the lucky roll. It's 12-3. And already, Kennedy Kariyama's seen enough. Timeout called. The most perfect start for the Sydney Flames with their backs completely against the wall.
Yeah, definitely the start they'd be looking for, to come out of the blocks like that and really show that they're not afraid of the Spirit, that they're here to play and that they want to try and push this to game 3.
Here's a look at Talia Tapia, who is in good form from three-point land a couple of nights ago. 4 of 7 from beyond the arc to have the 16 points. She's played a big role for the Flames since joining them halfway through this season.
Yeah, made a great read then. Defense went under that pick and roll. She just stepped back and rattled in that friendly roll.
Let's, Nathan a little earlier caught up with Kayla George and spoke about the team's mindset heading into tonight's game.
Yeah, we absolutely have been super resilient and built a lot of great character this season. And, you know, first time in 7 years for the Sydney Flames to be in the finals with the group that we've, you know, had in the last chunk of time, which has been missing main players. And so, yeah, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for Sydney basketball. It's an exciting time for the young girls that, you know, some of them are starting today. You know, it's great. Like, who would have thought at the start of the season that we'd have a couple of young girls starting in game 2 of the semi-final against the number 1 team and starting against 2 of their WNBL guns. So I think it's a really cool thing, and I hope they relish in the opportunity, which I know that they will. And I'm excited to be on the court with them and help them through navigating how it all feels.
Thanks, Kayla.
It's Kayla George. Great to have access to her pre-game. Now, importantly, let's see what Bendigo do out of this time now. As Burton is aggressive. A good defense from Brancatisano, who caught it back from George and immediately up the tempo. Pass inside for Pittman. Feeds it to Dees. These young Flames are fearless. Dees just missing on that occasion. But they are playing with no fear. Wickham, it's off her hands. It's a Flames ball from their baseline.
Wow, who would have thought? But again, we talk about, can they play free? Can they play hard defensively and free offensively? And that they're doing right now. Again, that was almost Sammy Whitcomb's first touch in almost 4 minutes of play.
Tapia drives and scores 14-3 in favour of Sydney. Nathan Stremple, you were listening in to Kennedy Kerryama in that timeout. What did you take out of it?
Well, as you see on court, Ben, it was the same in the timeout. There just appears to be some tension amongst the Bendigo group, a feeling of pressure needing to wrap it up. Carrie's touched on it. Sammy Whitcomb's hardly touched the ball so far, whereas Sydney have just played with freedom. Kennedy's emphasis was just executing. They hadn't got to their spot for their first set. We'll see how they settle into the game now.
Wickham had her first touch just then for a three-point attempt. She misses. Dees misses another lay-in. Can Burton pounce at the other end? Yes, she connects.
Sigh of relief for the Bendigo Spirit.
Absolutely, and how often does she come up big for the Spirit too in moments like this? So this could be the thing that starts to open the floodgates for the Spirit.
Dees well off target. That never looked good off the hand. That three-pointer from Burton broke a 10-zip run in favour of the Flames. Here's KG23, one of the best finals performers we've seen in this league. But Brancatisano is on defensively early.
Yeah, they're doing a great job speeding up the Bendigo Spirit. Bendigo Spirit aren't executing 3-4 passes, change of side inside out. They're shooting up 1 or 2 passes.
Dees takes on Griffin, late whistle, and Bonnie Dees will head to the charity stripe for the first time tonight.
Well, the pace is certainly on here. Zoe, the Flames playing up-tempo, moving the ball, playing freely offensively.
And that's the key there, what you just said, Graffy. They are just playing free. They're balling out, really. There doesn't seem to be any sort of pressure on them or anything. They're just going about their business. Whereas at the other end, you get this real feeling of tightness and almost pressure on the Spirit. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up. I hope they can. But it won't. I wouldn't think it'd take long for the Spirit to get into their execution phase.
Dees takes a seat after hitting the second, and Caitlin Martin is injected into the game and immediately goes to Sammy Whitcomb, guarding her closely. But Burton connects from deep for the Spirit.
That's what Burton's done all season for this team. She steps up, as you said, Zoe, at critical moments for them. When they need a bucket, she comes up big, as she did then.
Brancatisano!
I can do what you can do, Burton.
18-9 in favour of Sydney. All of Bendigo's points so far coming from beyond the arc. Wilson. Martin is not letting Whitcomb free at any stage. Tolo connects, this time from inside the perimeter.
And I think that's got to be something that Bendigo look at. Get the ball inside to Tolo, in particular when Kayla George is guarding her. They've played against each other and trained against each other for so long. but try and tire out Kayla George and get her having to defend to try and limit her offensive impact.
That's nuts from Talia Tapia with Mariana Tolo in her face. Somehow laid it in. That 9-point lead here for Sydney. Look away pass from Wickham. Perfect for Griffin.
That's what they're going to look at. You know, those two in a two-game are tough to defend when you get Tolo in that two-game with Wickham. If you can get Wickham the ball, it's all over.
Here goes Martin. The pocket rocket works her way in and then throws it away. Wilson takes on Kayla George. Brancatisano arrives, but Wilson's still got plenty of speed in the legs. And a nice little run here for Bendigo to draw it back to 5 points.
And a good time out here from Coach Guy Malloy too, really, to try and break the momentum here. You don't let veteran teams get on runs.
No, and absolutely, as you say, Zoe, kill that thing straight away. Keep your team feeling confident that they're okay.
Just with that, is there stuff, anything make her open? We're doing a great job of being physical on those breaks, DHOs and pitch and picks.
Kenny Kiriana addressing his side. We caught up with Kelsey Griffin a little earlier on. Here's what she had to say to Nathan Strimp.
Kelsey, you're 1 win away from a grand final. Towns is already there. How do you stop the mind drifting from that and focus on the task at hand?
Look, I think it's human nature to probably think like that, but I suppose having experience on my side, but also I think this whole season's been a process for us, you know, like it's new players coming in, playing big roles, and it's figuring out what's working on the day. It's going home, reflecting, learning, getting better, and so because that process is very similar, I think it's just staying dedicated to that.
Talk about the process in a group that's stayed really constant largely. You're playing against a team that's had a bunch of change, even up until last game. How do you scout that going into game 2?
Oh, look, it's tough to scout, but I think you have to give a ton of credit to Sydney, considering everything from the very beginning of their season that they've had to deal with. And, I mean, they showed in their last game. They played with a lot of heart. Everyone comes in. They know the expectations of Guy, and they play really, really hard. And so I think that just shows it's a credit to them and what they're doing here and trying to build that culture.
And they've made a good start to this game as well. The Sydney Flames, they lead 20-15. Bendigo just regrouping off the timeout. George for Dale, who's on the floor here. Kicks it out for Pittman, who knocks down her second three.
The kids are on fire. Great ball movement, Sydney's playing. The ball goes in, it comes out. They get themselves a wide open look.
Here's Dees, he's back on the floor this time, guarding Whitcomb. Pick and roll here with Tolo. Tolo kicks it out. Samuel's on the floor as well. Wilson is feeling it from three-point land.
That's beautiful ball movement. As we just saw down the other end, ball went in, came out, found the extra, gave up a good shot for great.
Nathan Stremple, you were listening into Guy Malloy at that timeout.
And thanks, Ben. Guy, echoing similar thoughts we heard from Zoe and Carrie, that defence is where this Flames team's going to win it. You saw the short lease, Kaylin Martin came in and then straight back out, bringing Bonnie Dees in to guard Sammy Whitcomb. And it was attention to detail. It was stretching the catch, making it difficult to get into their sets and disrupting what Bendigo are doing.
Thanks heaps, Nathan, as Talia Tapia, all nylon.
And those on-ball screen DHO coverages, you cannot go under her. She's got obviously the shot, but also the courage to take them. They need to make sure they're getting over the top of those, or she's going to go off.
Yeah, nice little push off there with Way Run. As you say, Zoe, can't go under. It's money for her. She'd hit one earlier. You don't give her another look.
Bendigo treated to a three-point fiesta at the moment. Whitcomb can join it. She does. So with that, Bendigo 5 of 7 from deep. The Sydney Flames also 5 of 7 from deep. Dale. Oh, this is nuts. Absolutely bonkers.
Is this just a game of on the rack, Graffy? Like, what is happening here?
Like it, right? playoff hoop. They're shooting the ball. You'd normally say it's a little more of a defensive grind, but look at the scoreline. 2 minutes to go in this first quarter.
I thought the Perthlings played last night, not tonight. Here's Samuel. She gets the turnover. Can Bendigo capitalise? George trying to whack it away there from Tolo. Tolo threw it away, but it was a tip there from the Flames. So Bendigo still with the basketball, 15 on the shot clock.
Pay that in the action defensively. Rotated quickly to help out. Tolo in the block isolated.
Tolo takes a seat. What a return it's been to the WNBL for her this season. Abby Werung and Samuels on the floor here for Bendigo. Whitcomb was double team there. Samuels catches, shoots, can't knock it down. And the rebound for Catasano. Tapia fires, can't connect. And great hustle off the glass from Werung.
The movement of Sydney Flames are playing. Player movement, ball movement, motion type offense. Hard to defend.
Very little room to move for Bendigo, but Abby Werung, a rare all-oxygen attempt from deep for her.
Pretty deep, pretty early in the offense. Maybe not the, I mean, she has had the hot hand the last few weeks, Abby Werung, but I think for me, the Bendigo Spirit need to get the ball through a few more sets of hand. Make Sydney Flames defend you a little more. See if you can create a breakdown.
Werung was 3 of 5 against the Sydney Flames recently. That one can't connect from Dale. Dees can't bring down the rebound. 29-23 from the Flames, in favour of the Flames. Samuels in the post, if you don't mind. Missed it, but Whitcomb lightning quick there off the offensive glass. Guarded by Dees. Whitcomb gets into the paint. Still good enough to get the shot up. Kayla George with the board.
Dees defensively on Sammy Whitcomb there. Negotiated that ball screen action really well, stayed with it. George had to come and help. Nothing easy for Sammy Whitcomb at this point.
10 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock as we tick towards quarter time. George just gets to Catasano. 4 to shoot here for Izza. George catches. Dees, the corner, knocks it down!
Wow.
Delightful from Bonnie Dees. As we tick towards quarter time, the Burton prayer is not answered, and maybe there is a twist left in this WNBL season. Sydney at quarter time, 32-23 leaders over the Bendigo Spirits. Quarter time here at the Quaycentre semi-final series, game 2. It's Bendigo's championship to lose. Kayla George boldly declared a few days ago, but undermanned and underdogs, the Sydney Flames have made an opening quarter statement. 31-23 leaders here at the Quaycentre. Ben Waterworth with you alongside a pretty stunned Zoe Carr and Carrie Graff. It has to be said, Zoe, the kids, they're showing they can ball.
They certainly are, shooting 6 of 10 from the three-point line. Even I can do that math at 60%. So, but the challenge for them now is, can they Can they keep that up? You know, it's one thing to do it in the first quarter, but the spirit will probably just be trying to ride this out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for the Spirit, it's about, can they get the ball through more sets of hands? They're taking 1-2 pass offense. I think if they grind them out a little bit more, they're going to find easier shots for themselves, settle into their offense a little more. As Sammy Wickham, if you need a bucket, let's go to her. For mine, she didn't see the ball enough in the first quarter because they were quick shooting. You know, get her involved early. She's your superstar. Yes, she gets denied and she gets pressured, but she didn't see enough of the ball in first quarter for me.
She hits for 2, and she'll go to the line to make it a 3-point play. As we head down courtside to Nathan Stremple, intrigued to know what Kennedy Kerryama had to say to his team at quarter time.
Ben, it was intriguing to watch. We've rarely seen Bendigo tested this season, and all of a sudden we saw a lot of voices having something to say. The veterans all talking, Griffin, Tolo, Wickham, Burton, all had something to contribute about how they want to correct it. For Kennedy, it was how they're working at the defensive end to disrupt what the Flames are doing and stop the open threes. But, Carrie, I want to put it to you. You say that Sammy hasn't touched the ball enough. I'll go one step further. Bendigo have really set up games in first quarters with Wickham's elite operation out of the on-ball. But the Flames have been great about taking them out of it. I don't think I've seen Sammy come off an on-ball the entire first quarter.
Yeah, look, their denial's been good, but they've got other sets to run for her. I think it was the fact that they shot the ball quick. They were playing off 1 or 2 passes and didn't give her an opportunity to come off some other screen action and then get into a ball screen or... but, you know, credit to Sydney. They did a good job, but I think it was more Bendigo. You know, as much Bendigo as it was Sydney.
Well, even though Bendigo are coming from a fair bit back here, they have been good from beyond the arc, 6 of 11. After that, Kelsey Griffin, 3-pointer. George feeds to Pyer, who had 10 points in that opening stanza. Trying to find George, but the Bendigo Spirit defensively had a good start to this second term. As Burton kicks on the afterburners and scores, and we're all tied up.
Yeah, and that's what the great teams will do. You know, they're going to ride through that first quarter. You don't win a ball game in the first quarter. You know, you get through nerves, you get through pressure. Test is on now for the Sydney Flames. Can they sustain some of that scoring punch?
D's in the paint, out for Pittman. Pye goes to work with 5 to shoot now. Made some tough shots in that first quarter. That's knocked out of her hands and out of bounds.
And you saw the adjustment there, Graffy, of going over that screen and forcing Tupaia away from the screen, so you've got that space, and now all of a sudden you can stay in front of her, and that 3-point shot's not there anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ben's point, underdog, underman, do not go under Tupaia.
Abby Werrung closely guarding Talia Tupaia.
Tupaia pleading with the referee.
Yeah.
She had my arm with 2 hands.
Referee said Werrung had all ball. Griffin, Wickham, and now Tolo backing down here on George. Quick pass for Wickham. No look from Sammy. Werrung hits the 3. Party tricks at the start of the second.
And that's more like it, isn't it? That's what we've seen all season, and it's exactly what you said, Graffy. Longer offense, better execution, and Sammy Wickham touching the ball on every possession.
What a start for this quarter. 11-0 in 2 minutes in favour of Bendigo. And then Brancatisano earns the foul. Griffin was hoping for the clean block. She will go to the line. And here's a look on replay of Bendigo at their offensive best.
And that's pretty hoop.
Brancatisano will head to the charity stripe. Weekends are for basketball and for families, and the best way to conquer the weekend is in a Ford Everest, the 7-seater SUV with room for the whole team. See your local Ford dealer to find the one to fit your family.
I thought it was going to feel like a Ford Everest at the start of this game for the Sydney Flames. They climbed halfway up the mountain, no problem.
Move from CG12 here. Great to have you watching wherever you are around the planet. Griffin, grit of the teeth, with aggression into the rack, pleaded with a foul, none forthcoming. Martin's in the corner as Dees drives, heads to Martin now, and the Flames reassess. Brancatisano from Martin, it's the screen from George. Gets that screen, steps back, and an uncontested look for 3 doesn't drop. Dees and Brancatisano can't keep it alive. And he's Bendigo with an 11-0 run at the start of this second term.
Yeah, interesting to see if Coach Guy Malloy will pull a quick timeout again. you know, just settle his group again. You know, like you say, 11-0 run. You stem that flow a little bit.
Now caught on the Flames. Third team foul already in the second term.
In a sense too, the defensive intensity for the Bendigo Spirit went up 2 gears for mine. You know, collapsing on anything coming in the lane, aggressively going after blocks. Shifting gears defensively and slowing down some gears offensively.
Tapai had a quick rest on the bench. Chicks back in for Martin. Burton goes to work. Pick and roll here with Tolo. Wilson. Griffin. Can't knock down the 3. And it's deemed off Bendigo's hands. A bit of a lucky get there for Sydney because there were 2 Bendigo players waiting for the offensive rebound.
Yeah, much better offensively for the Bendigo Spirit, getting the post touches and then play off that. Been effective for them.
George thread the needle to Tapia. She earned the foul and subsequently a trip to the free throw line.
You said at the top, Tapia has to step up today, and that she's certainly done. You know, she can be a great facilitator, but right now her team needs more than that from her tonight. She's got to score big, and she started this game exceptionally well. She's a great free throw shooter, plus 80%.
And it's good to see her also not just settling for the 3-ball, getting inside, using her size as an advantage against other guards, getting her feet in the paint and getting herself to the line.
Rare free throw miss from Talia Tapai on the first attempt, gets the second. 34-32 lead in favour of Bendigo. We saw Yamaya Morris on screen there on the bench as well, the tall import for Sydney. She's carrying an injury, according to Coach Guy Malloy. Kayla George also carrying an injury in recent weeks as well. Guy Malloy said post-game on Sunday that Kayla essentially played on 1 foot against Bendigo on Sunday. Wilson kicks it out, and Burt, that is dangerous. She's left all by herself. George brings down the rebound.
And Bendigo just going a little bit back to living and dying by the 3-ball. I think Sydney are doing a great job of covering when the ball goes in the paint, either pass-through penetration on the first go, but I feel like the ball needs to swing a little bit and then re-attack.
Tapia brings in Kayla George. Her first triple of the game. She's got 7 points and 5 assists, Kayla George. Griffin kicks it out for Wilson. Burton just fumbled at the wrong time. Hard contact there.
Tapia in the action again.
Offensive foul is the call. As we have a look at that play as before, Tapia finding George. Bench was up, and rightly so. Big win on that play there from Talia Tapia.
And again, the looseness that Sydney are playing with. You know, they're playing free. There's absolutely no pressure on them. No one expects them to win this game. They're just hooping. They're staying in this contest. Can they keep it close?
And it's mightily fun as well to watch them in full flight. Kennedy Kerryama, his 3rd season with Bendigo, got his team to the finals after an unbelievable 18-3 regular season campaign. Experienced campaigner, Australian basketball circles. Put together an incredible roster. Zoe Carr, and he's been absolutely fantastic for the Bendigo Spirit. Stay powered with Signet, Australia's favourite power bank brand. Keep your devices charged and never miss a moment. Visit signet.com to find your perfect power bank.
I think the Sydney Flames team have been sucking on those power banks before the game. They are charged up. Yeah. I mean, they are I love the way they're playing offensively. Their ball movement, their player movement. There's not a lot of structure. They're playing motion concepts, and then they'll end up in a pick and roll, but they're just playing at great tempo.
But it's also playing to their strengths as well. We're seeing vintage Kayla George with a pick and pop 3. We're seeing Tapia stepping back, shooting 3s, and then, you know, getting feet in the paint and using her size. So it's really playing into their strengths. But whoever's on the music here at the stadium is outstanding, because we've got a bit of a delay and they're playing a song that says, "What You Waiting For?" No. Outstanding. MVP of the game.
They always do a fantastic job at the Quaycentre. Great atmosphere on a Thursday night. know that their team is severely undermanned. No Celeste Taylor, no Michaela Ruth, no Emma Clark, no Shanice Swain. Arguably all starters. But Emma Clark was a pretty regular starter for the Sydney Flames. As Guy Malloy said to Nathan pre-game, it's a very different looking starting lineup to what it was back in round one, but they all season carried Sydney and Guy Malloy. They've kept on coming up with answers in the face of adversity.
Yeah, that they have, and credit to them. I mean, they've been relentless. As you said, if you would have looked at the group that's starting tonight and said this team will start in a semi-final series, you'd say no way.
Back underway after a little delay. As Dale drives the baseline. Step out of bounds. Did play for the Bendigo Spirit, McKenna Dale. Being picked up by Sydney halfway through this season. Wilson guarded by Pittman, and Pittman not letting Wilson out of her sights. Brancatisana this time with the defensive role on Wickham, but Wickham's too good. Steps back, vintage Sammy Wickham.
But you go to sets to get her open. They run her off staggers, ran her off screens, and then get her into some other action. That they didn't do in the first quarter.
Wickham makes things happen. George feeds to Pye, kicks it out. Good look here for Carla Pittman, who is almost 3 from 3, and Kelly Wilson ripped that Spalding away from McKenna Dale.
Getting good shots from the Sydney Flames. Inside Tolo with the finish. Thought she might have got an and one, but not to be.
Wickham getting going. She's got 4 assists now tonight. 6 points for Sammy Wickham. Bendigo by 4. George wants a cut from Tapia. Gets it, and the sea's parted for Talia.
Wow.
The GOAT watching on from the sidelines, applauding the Sydney Flames, who are putting up a courageous performance. Down by 2. Samuels catches, shoots, knocks it down. Timeout called by coach Guy Malloy, with Bendigo leading 42-37 in this WNBL semi-final, game 2. Sydney Flames trailing 37-42 here at the Quaycentre. They did trail 31-23, Bendigo. At quarter time, it's been a terrific fight back. 19-6 in this second quarter so far. In favour of Bendigo.
Start for this Sydney Flames team. You know, they're just playing free and loose offensively, some motion offense. You know, the IQ of Tapia and George, that, you know, getting denied, they're like, you know, Tapia's hurting his legs tonight. She back cuts, they get a score on the rim.
And there really isn't an opportunity for Tolo to help off of that, because if she does, Kayla George is going to turn and shoot it.
Bendigo by 5 here at the Quaycentre. Terrific atmosphere in Sydney tonight, trying to will their team over the line against the mighty Bendigo Spirit, against the odds. What's the message here, Carrie, particularly for Guy Malloy with his young side? They've got their tails up, their energy from that first quarter, and now Bendigo starting to flex their muscle. So a well-timed timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it would have been all about defence for them. I think they're finding ways to score to allow them to keep doing, as we see there, exactly that. Tapia gets denied, back cut. You know, they're playing motion principles superbly.
Nathan, you were listening in to Guy Malloy during that timeout. What did you pick up?
Guy, ever the teacher, just articulating some slight adjustments they need to make defensively, then just working through what the next play is. Pretty impressive with Talia Tapia getting the rack. But what was notable, these Flames aren't scared at the moment. These young players are ready to go, and they're taking it right up to Bendigo. And it's in front of pretty elite company. I saw you refer to Lauren Jackson as the GOAT sitting courtside. We've got multiple GOATs in their house. Brian Gordon's just the other end of the baseline as well. The Sydney Kings head coach supporting the Hoops Capital crew.
Thanks very much, Nathan. At the other end, Tolo quickly responds, gets the 2 after terrific Tapia double just before. Dees takes on Wickham, draws the contact and will head to the line.
Smart play from the youngster, you know, not fearful at all, robust, got a great body, going to head to college after this season. To my mind, I'd say, hey kid, stay home, play in the WNBL. You know what you're showing here, boy, could you rise quickly, more quickly for my mind.
Especially when she is defending at WNBL level, and it normally takes a few years to get that in this league. She's stepped into this league, she's playing against the league MVP, and she's doing an amazing job.
In her first start in the last regular season game for Sydney, she had 11 points, 10 rebounds and 4 steals against the Southside Flyers. She started in the past 3 consecutive games for the Flames. Back to a 3-point lead here for Bendigo. Griffin trying to feed Wickham, somehow got free from Dees, and you only need to give Sammy a minuscule of a second for her to make you pay.
She's a freak in the best possible way, Sammy Wickham.
Offensive foul is called on Tapia. She took some contact early in this quarter. This time she gives the foul away.
See it here, good denial defense by the youngster, but Sammy Wickham so savvy, pushes off, finds herself a little bit of space and separation.
All business, Sammy Wickham. She has really been the fire starter for Bendigo in this second quarter.
You sense here, a real tipping point here. These last 2 minutes going to a half-time. Can the Sydney Flames keep it close? Not go in for half-time with a double-digit deficit.
Foul on Brank Catasano, who hits the floor, and that's the Flames in the bonus as well. So Kelly Wilson will be going to the line. So far, it is a 24-10 second quarter in favour of the Bendigo Spirit. Let's look from courtside.
Tripped on her. Sneaker just got caught on a bit of varnish on the floor.
In the meantime, Kelly Wilson will go to the line. 14 of 16 she's hit from the charity stripe this season. Kelly Wilson, tonight, game number 474 in the WNBL.
Yeah, what a champion she's been. Played at numerous clubs, won championships. She can shoot the three, she can get on the rim. She's a great facilitator.
Makes them. Bendigo now hold that 8-point lead. Martin on the floor here. Pittman. Trying to step back there with Samuels guarding her. George, guarded by Griffin. Feeds to Tapia. Not a lot opening up offensively here. Martin for George. Wanted the 1-2. Idea was right, execution was well off. Wickham is taking control here in this semi-final. Misses, rebounds, almost rebounded again off the miss. Griffin slaps it away, and Wickham almost regained it. And just stepped out of bounds.
The intensity certainly lifted for the Bendigo Spirit defensively.
It certainly has. You can see they're switching now, which does cause a mismatch with Kayla George, but then they're swarming her from the feeder. They're stepping off and making it really difficult for the ball to go inside.
Pittman went for the three. She is 2 of 5 tonight from beyond the arc. We're on. Samuels thought about putting up a quick release. Griffin cutting, no one was with her, and Griffin makes it a 10-point lead.
I really like that from Samuels. We saw earlier she let an early one fly, and it probably wasn't quite the right decision. She looked at it again on that one, thought better of it, took longer in the offense. They get a wide-open layup.
Timeout called here at the Quaycentre. Here's a look at Samuels. The team play, and Kelsey Griffin is rewarded with the 2. She has 7 points tonight, KG. Only had the 2 a couple of nights ago, but she's back amongst the leading scorers for Bendigo. Calling all sports teams, say goodbye to travel headaches and hello to CTM Sport, who are 100% committed to delivering excellence in their field. Leave the logistics to the travel experts so your athletes can focus on what they do best. Learn more at ctmsport.com.au. Quaycentre tonight. Malloy addressing his side. A terrific start to the game. A 31-23 lead. And at quarter time and led by as much as 11 points. The Bendigo flexed their muscle in the second quarter, Zoe. Has been off the back of a significant attitude shift from the entire team, and Sammy Wickham's really led the way.
Well, especially offensively. They've gone back to Bendigo basketball of long offense, finding the right shot and really drawing the defense into mismatches and rotations, and that's where they then make teams pay.
Samuels missed the three, got her own rebound and stepped out of bounds. So 75 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Flames would love a couple of baskets and a stop or two as well.
Particularly just to maintain that confidence to go into half-time, you know, still in touch.
Tapia drives and is fouled.
She does a great job of using her body. She's so strong, and when she gets into the paint, she nudges into the defense and then separates out, and it just gives her so much extra space and room to operate.
Yeah, she's robust. She's got a low center of gravity. She's hard to knock off balance.
Kylie Tapia at the charity stripe, her 11th WNBL season, her 9th with the Sydney Flames as part of their most recent WNBL championship. Has become an integral member of this roster midway through the season. Werung draws the contact. This time she will head to the charity stripe.
And when we talk about scoring the ball early, they're the ones that you're happy with as a coach. It's, you know, if you're playing in transition, you're kicking the ball ahead, you know, you're one-on-one or one-on-none layups, that's what you're happy with. It was those early ones where it was one pass shot or one pass drive into 2 or 3, Graffy, I think that were the problem for the Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've switched that around. This second quarter's, as you say, Zoe, been all about their style of basketball. Much more structured offense, you know, multiple screens to have to negotiate, particularly for Whitcomb. Much better decision-making, much more poised offensively. They're playing at a good half-court tempo.
Such an efficient charity stripe shooter is Abby Werung, going to 83% prior to tonight. Dees, Tapia, George trying to work in tandem here with Tapia, but Tapia lost her opponent and had an uncontested look for 2.
And gave KG a look on the floor as well and said, yep, thank you, I'll take another 2.
Werung, what about the 3? Griffin and Whitcomb goes to work. Big screen there from Samuels. Whitcomb threw it back to her, but then threw it out of bounds.
Unselfish by Whitcomb, but, you know, the talent that she is, yeah, that's when she's got to stroke that 3. But you can see what she's trying to do, bring another player into the, you know, bring Samuels back into the game, who's also 3-point shooter. But at this point in the game, 7 up. She's got to take that one for my mind. 9 up, sorry.
Ball in good hands here with 2 seconds between game clock and shot clock.
And there's such a big difference mentally about going into the change rooms up double figures or more, or it being under double figures. And for a veteran team, you want to put that mental pressure on a younger team like the Flames.
Tapia, closely guarded by Werung, gets around Werung, can't get around KG 23. The old firm, Wilson and Griffin, can't quite connect. But that is an impressive second stanza from Bendigo. 30-13 in that second quarter. They flipped the script. And at halftime, it's Bendigo 53, leading the Sydney Flames 44. And Kennedy Kiriyama will be mightily pleased with his team's comeback in that second quarter. They trailed by as much as 11 in that opening quarter. And now they lead by 9 at the major break. Sonny Whitcomb leading her team off the court. Experienced team as well, 18-3 throughout the regular season. And they showed all their wisdom and experience in that second quarter to fight back against this young, brave, gutsy, injury-depleted Sydney Flames roster as Kelly Wilson is courtside with Nate Stremple.
Kelly, you were testing the first quarter, but a pretty impressive turnaround, 30-13 that quarter.
Yeah, look, we obviously knew that they were going to come out game 2 ready and raring. We were not quite prepared for that, I don't think, and they shot the lights out. So for us to get back into it and be in front at half-time, that's pretty much all we can ask.
Quarter time, I think every single one of the veteran leaders were having a bit of a say at Bendigo there. You could feel that you were tested. That was, I think, where we saw the leadership shine through, that you're all able to contribute and then show it on the court.
Yeah, look, obviously we know that getting off to a not-so-great start isn't ideal, but I think we're old enough and experienced enough to know that we can get our way back into this game, and that's what we did. But our second half last week was what let us down in our last game, so we need to come out in this second half firing.
Well, they turned the lights off on us, so we look forward to seeing it. All the best in the second half.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks to Kelly, thanks to Nate Stremple. It's halftime here at the Quaycentre. Halftime analysis coming up on the other side of this as the finals continue in the Signet WNBL. Halftime here in the Signet WNBL semi-finals series. Hello and welcome back to the finals on ESPN, brought to you by Ford. Ben Waterworth with you alongside Zoe Carr and Carrie Graff. We are seeing a tantalising game as well. Sydney showing no fear, Zoe, in that first quarter, and then Bendigo flexing their muscle in the second. Entertaining contest so far.
It really has been, and Sydney need to be really proud of the effort that they've made, but also really start to believe that they can win this game. If they can come out and play the D the way they did at the start of that game, that really rattled Bendigo.
Yeah, absolutely did. It made him speed up. It made him shoot when they shouldn't really be shooting. But, you know, a veteran star group like this went, hang on a second. Second quarter's all ours. We talk about, third quarters being championship quarters. It'll be interesting to see.
What did you specifically see, Carrie, from Bendigo in that second quarter that was able to get them back in the game? A 30-13 second quarter.
They got the ball in Sammy Wickham's hands by running her off multiple screens. They got her open, and that was the difference. She got to do Sammy Wickham things then.
We will have a quick chat about Sammy Wickham very, very soon, but there is the halftime stats so far. I said off there, I can't remember the last time I saw Kelly Wilson have 12 points and a half. Her season best this season is 12 points, so she already has that at halftime of a semi-final series. But you mentioned Sammy Wickham just before, Carrie. Zoe, my word, she really did inspire her team in that second quarter.
She did, and she is trying to get other players into the game, but we love it when we see her play like this and getting open and sticking the three.
And Talia Tapia as well, Carrie Graff. She's playing she had a great game on Sunday against the Bendigo Spirit. She already has the 18 points. Incredibly 7 of 8 from the field for Talia Tapia.
Yeah, she's shooting the absolute poo-poo out of it. Am I allowed to say that on TV? I think I am.
Did.
Because she is. I mean, look, getting in the lane, using her physicality, her size, finding space, making huge shots. That little inside flip against Tolo, great shot blocker. Early on, we saw this happen time and time again. They go under the screen. She strokes it. She's been the difference for them.
So 18 points for Talia Tapia, but she needs a couple of other Sydney players to come with her, certainly from a scoring perspective, Zoe.
She does, and she also needs, you look at Kayla George, who had a really good start. They've got to continue to bring her in. But the youngsters of the Sydney Flames have done a great job of, sticking the open shot when it's come to them. The danger is that they go away from playing on her and getting her the ball because, there's going to be a lot of attention on her in the second half.
53-44 in favour of Bendigo here at halftime in Game 2. But let's have a look back at Game 1 of both semi-final series and check out the top 5 plays.
Bailey with a 3 ball. That is going to feel good.
And at the other end, Burton is hot.
So nylon.
George catches one-on-one here with Griffin. Banks it in, count the points, and she'll go to the line for an extra.
Nia Coffey banks it home. Something out of nothing for Townsville. What a way to finish.
or appointed, I should say, a new role with the WNBL and an advisor. Can you tell us more about that and what that involves?
Basically, I'm just working with a new group, the ownership group, and just providing my experiences and some suggestions along the way. So, all good.
Well, it sounds good to me because, I mean, if anyone's got experience, it's certainly yourself. So tell me, what's your vision? What's part of that for what comes next in the WNBL?
I think the biggest thing that I love is the focus on the athletes and making it as possible league for the athletes. I think that's incredible, and obviously my experience as an athlete, I can provide with input in that area.
So do we have a lot to look forward to for what lies ahead with the WNBL?
Yes, so much. It's a really exciting time for women's basketball, and I'm just glad that I get to be a part of the journey.
We're excited to be a part of it too. All right, Sydney, one more time for the GOAT, Lauren Jackson. Thank you so much.
I actually originally signed to go and play in New Zealand, and then one Tuesday morning I was doing a workout and ended up, the guy who I was working out with got in contact with Guy, and then Guy was like, yeah, we've been trying to sign her for a month or so, but she already signed. So then I was lucky enough that my New Zealand team let me out of my contract with no dramas, so I'm very grateful for that. And then within 2 days had signed with the Sydney Flames. Championship is the goal, but like the little milestones along the way, or how we are every day at training or in the weights or outside of basketball, everything that we do will create a successful season regardless of whether we get the trophy at the end or not.
And she's dangerous. You can't give her time and space to get that shot away.
I never went to college, stayed home, like being at home. Played a lot of what was CBL and then NBL 1. The last couple of seasons out at Mount Gambier, so that was really nice. I've had like outside interests of basketball, so basketball's sort of been there, but I've been able to do heaps of other things along the way as well. Yes, basketball's wonderful, but there's a lot more to life as well. Like I've been able to work and buy a house and travel and do different things like that because basketball hasn't been year round, but then also get to enjoy the fun of playing the sport and being involved in a team environment. So I loved my journey, I guess, yeah. I think I'm a little bit silly. I like being outdoors and in the sun. I'm like a random, so I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to this place now, I'll book a flight, or I hang out with my friends a lot. I really quite enjoy running, so I spend a bit of time running. I like cooking and eating. Yeah, a lot of like simple things, but yeah, that's Isabella.
Isabella Brown-Catasano has been one of the stories of this WNBL season. She'll have a big role to play in the second half here as the Sydney Flames trail 44 to Bendigo 53. Third quarter not too far away. But you may notice today that players from both teams have a purple band around the top of their singlet. This band is a powerful symbol of support for survivors of domestic violence. This season, the WNBL, its clubs, athletes and the Players Association have united to raise awareness around this critical issue because enough is enough and a life free from violence is possible, and when everyone plays a role, real change happens. Learn how you can be part of the solution by visiting Full Stop Australia. Phone number and QR code on your screens now. Well, the GOAT is in the house, Lauren Jackson, and she's courtside with Nathan Stremple.
Newly appointed special advisor for the WNBL, Lauren Jackson, joins me. You're in a Flames jersey, one you haven't worn so far. Carrie Graf said that Talia Tupaia is shooting the poo-poo out of it. What do you think about the Flames so far?
They're playing great basketball. Hopefully they can continue it and keep this game close, but it's been impressive to watch and be here live.
To be here live and the last couple of days has been a bit said about women's sport. What an incredible standard. Give us your thoughts about the WNBL finals in general and the standard of play we're seeing out here.
Oh, look, the women's basketball product is incredible. It's a smart game, it's physical and it's super athletic. And the more I watch it, the more I'm just impressed at the skill level of the girls. And, you know, this is why we are number 2 in the world, you know.
It's great to have you in the building, Lauren. Enjoy the second half.
Thank you very much.
She's right, Lauren Jackson. The skill has been awesome in this game in particular, and one of the best to ever do it, to wear an Opals jumper, is Kayla George, and she knocks down the first triple of the third quarter. Zoe Carr and Carrie Graf alongside me for the call. Perfect start for the Sydney Flames. The challenge though now, Zoe, is to try and continue to go toe-to-toe with Sammy Wickham and Bendigo from a Sydney perspective for the rest of this second half.
Yeah, and a great start for Sydney to get the ball in Kayla George's hands for a catch-and-shoot wide-open 3, but they're going to have to stay with that smothering defensive effort that they had in the first quarter. That was too easy for Sammy Wickham.
Dees drives hard into the lane and lays it in for 2. It's a good offensive start to this third quarter for Sydney. The equation is simple for the Flames. Win and they force a game 3, lose, and their WNBL 25 campaign is over.
Then patient offense in the half court from Bendigo. Kelly Wilson.
14 points for Kelly Wilson, a season high in an important semi-final for the vet. Bendigo respond to the early Sydney challenges. Pittman, good look here. Can't knock it down. Brave Kayla George wins it. D steps back. Pittman, Tupaia fires. goes, knocks it down.
She's absolutely on fire, but a great job from Sydney too to find her. There was probably 2 shots that could have gone then, but instead they just kept kicking it until they found her the hot hand.
She's 8 of 9 from the field tonight, Talia Tapia. Burton drives baseline, blocked by George. One back by Brown Catasano. And George for Pittman. Trying to find a teammate. The Flames reassess. Tapia is the danger. She feeds George. She feeds Pittman. She finds it out of bounds.
And it's the right shot. It's good offense there. The ball got through hands, got inside, came out. You know, they're the sort of shots that Sydney need to continue to find, whether they're going in or not. Don't go away from it just because it missed. That is good offense for the Flames.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to say, though, I think Kayla George, she stroked the first one to open the corner. Take it again. I mean, it's nice to share it around, but, mate, that's you. Take it.
She's in a sharing mood, Kayla George, tonight. As Griffin hits for 2. George has 6 assists so far in this contest. Bendigo by 7. Brown Catasano. Tapia. George had it ripped away from her by Griffin. Two of the best players of the past decade going at it. Wickham is fouled.
And this is the challenge for Sydney. They're actually shooting at a better field goal percentage at 59% than the Spirit, but they're not getting as many shots because the Spirit are getting their stops. They're forcing them into either turnovers or to come up with the ball before they can even get that shot away. So it's not about the shot percentage that's the problem, it's about the shot rate.
Just saw on screen the great Brian Goorjian, of course, coach of the Boomers bronze medal in the Tokyo Olympics. 12-time NBL champion as well. Great to have our own bronze Olympic medalist and 12-time WNBL champion Carrie Graff alongside us here in commentary. Bendigo 61, Sydney 52. Tapia, George. Griffin playing tight defense there from Brown Catasano.
Yeah, hasn't she cranked up her intensity? She's leading through effort to start this championship third quarter. It's Kelsey Griffin.
It's the thing from a Bendigo perspective, there's no shortage of players to turn to for a dose of inspiration or wisdom. Pittman, Brown Catasano, Deeds, tough shot, knocks it down.
Done a great job again, feeding the paint penetration, collapse the defense, spit out and find the open shooter.
She's up to 10 points, Bonnie D, second time that she has reached double figures. She's guarding Whitcomb closely here, Dees. Using up the shot clock here, Bendigo. Samuels pulls the trigger and falls well short. Can the Flames capitalise after winning the stop? George set the screen. Pittman is wide open. George keeps it alive for a fresh 14 seconds. She catches, turns around, can't get it to go. She's threatening at the start of this third quarter, Kayla G.
Again, good ball movement, good offense from the Sydney Flames. Just couldn't buy the basket. We saw Bendigo Spirit trapping Tapia in the pick and roll then. Get the ball out of her hands.
Wilson, Whitcomb worked so hard to receive that ball. Missed the fadeaway shot though. 61-55. Pittman is passing to Brown Catasano, who's deadly from that range. And Sydney's never say die attitude goes up a gear. 58-61, Bendigo lead, but Sydney right in this contest. 14 points to 8 so far in this third quarter. Hot start from Guy Malloy's Sydney Flames.
Signet is the proud host of the WNBL, and it's time to power up the crowd thanks to Signet. I have some family members of number 11, Sherry Kalia. She is these ladies' aunties. We've got Madeline McKenzie and over here Dan Mark, and it's parents versus kids. Adults versus kids. Right, Mark, you've got to start us off. take a big step forward for us. You're going to hype up the crowd. All the adults, parents, in 3, 2, 1. Hype up!
Welcome back, Sydney Flames. Bendigo Spirit, Game 2 semi-final series. Bendigo leads 61-58. These young Flames continuing to press and challenge the minor champions. Both teams only used the 7 players so far. Still haven't seen Yamaya Morris or Cherie Kalea from a Sydney perspective. Nathan Stremple, you were listening in to Kennedy Kerryama at the Bendigo Spirit.
Well, catching up with both coaches at halftime, Ben, the emphasis was on defence. Kennedy said he lived with 53 points any day of the week, which is what they had at halftime. But it's the 14-8 run the Flames have gone on. That's the most animated I've seen Kennedy all season. Unhappy with them overplaying non-shooters, unhappy with them letting them drive baseline and not boxing out, as we see Kayla George repeatedly getting after offensive rebounds.
Thanks very much, Nathan. Sydney with a grand opportunity here. Brancatisano pulls the trigger. Can't get it to go. Werung on the floor with Samuels for Bendigo.
Dees again with the defensive assignment on Whitcomb.
And not letting her out of our sights. But still Sammy Whitcomb goes to work. She misses.
And they're the shots you've got to be content with. Sammy Whitcomb can make that, but you know, make them difficult. Don't allow her to just get into her groove, because that's when she has 40.
Tapia with 5 to shoot. George got free momentarily. Tolo got the hand in there. It was a no-look hand, and it was good enough to force the turnover.
Trapping on Tapia on that ball screen action's been effective for the Bendigo Spirit. Force her to cough it up.
Dees called for the foul. An intriguing watch it has been all night to see how the Flames have guarded Sammy Whitcomb. Dees has had the responsibility for most of the night. We've seen Caitlin Martin and Isabella Brancatisano also have stints on it. Despite Whitcomb's output, she's having to work mighty hard for all her possessions at the moment.
Yeah, that she is. You know, Dees, the young kid's got pretty good length. She's a good athlete.
Samuels catches, shoots, knocks it down. Big bucket for Bendigo.
Massive. Little sigh of relief for the Bendigo Spirit. Keep the scoreboard ticking over. Keep this margin.
George wanting a cut there from Dees. Tapia back for George. Bendigo's defensive intensity is certainly lifted, and they're forcing turnovers from the Flames. Burton picks up the pace. Werung in a good spot. In and out from Abby Werung. One of the best three-point shooters we've seen in the league across the past 5-6 seasons, Abby Werung.
Sense a little bit of fatigue setting in for both teams here. Decision-making not quite on point. You know, not making decisions when against traps, against switches.
Tapia with Tolo in her face. She cannot miss.
Wow. And there's not much more Tolo could have done there. She had a long hand up and contested that, but Tapia is just feeling it.
9 of 10 from the field, 24 points for Talia Tapia. Flames within 3 again. 5 to shoot here for Samuels. Tolo this time goes to work offensively and draws the foul from Kayla George. First foul for George. The rest of the starting 5 for the Flames on 2 fouls.
Yeah, she looked like she was straight up. She's having a chat to the referee about it. They have a much better view than we do.
Kayla George argues her case as Mariana Tolo heads to the charity stripe. Foot Locker is celebrating 50 years of sneakers. Celebrate 50 years in the current hoop season by grabbing the latest kicks and apparel at your nearest Foot Locker, the official major partner of the WNBL. 81% free throw shooter this season, Mariana Tolo. She's 100% from those 2 attempts. 66-61. Sydney continuing to challenge this Bendigo outfit. Pick and roll action here. Pittman, what a move. Great assist from Tapia.
And it looked like there they went back to a drops coverage, which confuses me a little bit because Tapia has been using drops coverages to stick the three early, and now she's looking to wheel and deal off that. The trap or even the hard show was working really well. I'm surprised they'd go away from that.
Burton missed. And the long rebound. Dee's got free. It's a 1-point ball game.
Wow. This kid's hooping, playing maturely beyond her years.
12 points, 5 rebounds for Bonnie Dees. Foul is called on the Flames as Wilson drove towards the rack. That's the third foul on Dees.
There you go, the veteran saying, I'm going to go straight at your body. I'm going to challenge those feet.
And if she stays out there, we'll see if they go at her again, if they can pick up her fourth quickly.
One of the great things about the WNBL, Kelly Wilson in game 4-7-4, taking it up to one of the best young talents in the comp in game number 20. Only 18 years of age, Bonnie Dees. Foul again on the Flames. They're in the bonus.
Doing a great job, though, to try and make it difficult for Whitcomb. But the vets have such savvy about how to stunt, hesitate, drive you into pick, sucker a foul from you. We saw it then. We saw it previously with the Kelly Wilson and Dees action.
Fran Catasano called for the foul. That's her third. Whitcomb, one of the best free throw shooters in the league this season. 89% prior to tonight. Effortless as it goes up from the line. Bendigo with a 68-65 lead. Pittman takes on the Spirit, banks it in. These fearless Flames continuing to stun the Spirit.
Ability not to contain penetration. I mean, when Sydney put it on the floor, they look good.
They will not say die, they will not go away. Offensive foul on Whitcomb. Massive play here. Might have been, in fact, on Tolo. My apologies. Fran Catasano hit the floor.
A little unlucky for Tolo, I think there. That's a big body versus a little body. That was a legal string for my mind. It's just the collision impact like that. A 5'3" player is going to hit the deck.
And it's definitely a legal screen in finals basketball too.
What an opportunity here for Sydney. Final minute of the third quarter. George doesn't get the lucky roll, and Sally Whitcomb wanted that sporting more than anyone else. Lobs it in for Tolo. Tolo gets the two.
Steadying force, Mariana Tolo maintained her composure, didn't lose her head after getting that moving screen foul.
3-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Ball in the hands of Talia Tapia. She's had the hot hand for Sydney all night. That time, her hands were butterfingers. Loses control. And Bendigo can have the final say. Griffin from way downtown
rattles it in.
KG 23-4-3. And we have a 6-point Bendigo lead as we turn for home at the Quaycentre. Bendigo 73, Sydney 67. 1 quarter left. Semi-final series game 2. Don't go anywhere on ESPN.
Congratulations, yes, you are the winner. 250. She's on helmet, but let's go to the other side because it's not over yet. Next prize, a Canon compact photo selfie printer. You have won it. Yes, you read all those funky names. We're giving that straight to you. And last one, the same prize, Canon compact photo printer selfie. Who is taking this one? Right now, here we go. Come on, we haven't got long now. You really got to get our attention quick. Oh, come on. They're on the shoulders. Surely that's a win. Looking at it, yes, come on, on the shoulders. Keep it going. Great shots, great shots.
One quarter left here, game 2 of this semi-final series between Bendigo and the Flames. Bendigo, heavy favourites coming into this contest to go through to a grand final series, but Sydney trying to flip the script, and they're within 6 points as we turn for home. Bendigo 73, the Flames 67. Terrific atmosphere, lots of signs out in the crowd at the Quaycentre. Prizes up for grabs for the best signs as well, handing out the prizes as we speak, and they are being treated to a terrific contest between these two sides. In Waterworth with you alongside Zoe Carr and Carrie Graffin. Courtside is Nathan Stremple, who was listening in to Guy Malloy at the Sydney Flames.
Well, I wonder how much the end of that third will come back to bite the Flames. Tapia with a look to tie it up, turns it over. Griffin the late three, but Guy Malloy, just a quiet word in Talia's ear, knowing that the Flames have got as far as she can take them. Told her to keep being aggressive, then work through where they want to go offensively, where they're going to get looks against this Bendigo side. For the Flames, it's win or go home. 1 quarter left in their season.
Thanks, Nate. Beautifully set up. Burton gets the first points of the fourth quarter. They lead by 8. Brand Catasano can't respond to the triple. 3 Spirit players were there for the rebounds.
See what Bendigo have got in this half-court set. Who do they get the ball to?
Burton into the paint. Can't get it to go. Tolo, too big, too strong. 10-point lead.
Just big time. Tolo's always right there when you need her. You need a bucket. You need an offensive board. There she is. She is the ultimate veteran player, but also so reliable.
Dale for George, who catches. Looking to feed off. Quick shot goes up and gets it to go with Tola in her face.
A little shimmy in the step back. Classic Kayla George.
12 points, 5 boards, 6 assists tonight for Kayla G. Griffin guarded here by Tapia. The fancy footwork and the foul on Tapia. She can't believe it, neither can the Flames crowd.
Kelsey Griffin went around the world to get that bucket, 360 spin, and then went baseline with the reverse. Tapia looked like pretty good D.
You'll be the judge at home. 3rd foul for Tapia. Might have been a bit of contact with the hand, which the referee saw here, a real good angle.
Might have caught a little finger.
Touch and go. Kelsey Griffin at the line, misses the first attempt. 81% free throw shooter this season, 50% at that trip.
And this is where the Flames have to be really careful and take care of the ball. Bendigo have 20 points off at coming into three-quarter time off their turnovers, whereas Sydney only have 6 points off Bendigo's turnovers. So they really need to make sure they take care of the ball because Bendigo are capitalising on their turnovers.
It's been the Achilles heel of the Sydney Flames actually for most of the season. #1 team in the competition for turnovers. Bendigo really looked after the basketball tonight.
Interesting too to see. Sydney can't score here. Does Coach Guy Malloy take another timeout just to try and keep this margin, give him a little breather? You know, I think keeping it close rather than hold on to him with your team right now.
McKenna Dale stepped out of bounds, so a stop here for Bendigo. And a 9-point buffer. Dale this time tries to win it back. Follows up and knocks it back out of bounds with 15 on the shot clock. Been brave all season, Sydney. Fighting to the end. Dees back on the floor. With 3 fouls to her name. 3 also for Tapia and Brancatisano.
Could be the thing that bites them, unfortunately.
George just with the 1 for Sydney. Werung goes to work. Griffin lobbing it in. They're looking for Tolo. Werung, deadly from deep. Did she get it off in time? Goes out of bounds nonetheless. Good defensive play there from the Sydney Flames.
Yeah, they doubled Tolo on the catch aggressively with their rotation onto that mismatch. Well, not a mismatch. Kayla George can play Tolo one-on-one, but they want to force it out of there. Did a great job.
Caitlin Martin on the floor. Both teams used it to 7 players tonight. Fatigue kicking in. Who's going to have the legs? Martin. She has the freshest legs of anyone. She can't find the bottom of the net.
Rushed that finish. She was shocked that she got a little bit open in the lane late.
Oh, Burton with the crossover. Pretty stuff. Out for Werung. Pass wasn't flat. Burton can have another crack here. 6 to shoot. Another crossover. Another aggressive dribble. Misses the shot. No foul call.
When you talk about fatigue, you can see it here. Rush shots at the end of finishes. People pleading with referees for calls.
Burton can't quite steal it. She hits the floor. 5 on 4 here. Pittman trying to find George. It's off Bendigo feet. It's an 8-second shot clock here for Sydney to work with.
8 seconds. 8 seconds to shoot.
Can the Flames get a mini run on here at the start? Dees catches. Thinking about passing to George. Goes herself with the confidence and authority. Did all the hard work and just didn't have enough juice on the attempt.
Crowd imploring defence from their home team, Sydney Flames. They get a stop.
Burton looks like the player really trying to up the tempo in the 4th. Whitcomb goes to work. That's tough to guard. She pumps her fist. Big time play from Sammy.
That's just elite play. There's not much you can do to defend that. That was well defended by Bonnie Dees, but it's better offense, and sometimes that's what you come up against.
80 to 69 in favour of the Bendigo Spirit as a timeout is called. For a quick and easy weeknight dinner, the whole family will enjoy as we watch Veronica Burton and Sammy Whitcomb linking up. Whitcomb tough, determined, dogged at her best. And the lip readers, one for them at home. For a quick and easy weeknight dinner the whole family will enjoy, pick up a family pack of Latina fresh pasta and sauce. Ready in minutes and so delicious. There won't be any complaints at the dinner table. Find Latina Fresh in the chilled pasta aisle near you. Whitcomb up to 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. She's had to work mightily hard for it, Carrie, but every time she comes up with an answer somehow.
She does. I mean, and as you say, she's been denied. They've been physical with her. They've thrown different things at her. But she's just got such a great sense of how to use her body. She shimmies with you 2, 3, 4 tempos, then finds a body and finds a finish, and then sprays something at the referee.
But you also see that Townsville will be watching this with interest, especially if Spirit do get through this game, of what, even though she's got 20 points, what making Whitcomb into a difficult 20 points does to the Bendigo Spirit. So this will be, they're showing them something right now.
And certainly what it does to you come the end of the game. Have you got the same juice in your arms? Have you got the same juice in your legs? When you've been bumped, ground, had to fight for everything.
Second foul on Kelsey Griffin as Talia Tapia hit the floor. Back on the floor, Talia Tapia. Played another mighty game, 9 of 10 from the field, including 4 of 5 from three-point land. Helping Talia Tapia to her feet was Kelsey Griffin as we head to courtside. And Nathan Strimple, you were listening in the Bendigo Huddle.
Thanks, Ben. I'm just enjoying watching the way Bendigo are responding to being tested. As you were saying, Sammy Whitcomb forced to fight for a hard 20 points. And you hear the impetus in the voice of, in particular, Kelsey Griffin, imploring this group to finish the task and look after business and get through for the next 6 minutes. 6 minutes away from a grand final series, Bendigo.
Thanks very much, Nate. What an opportunity that was for Kayla George. It was good connection with Tapia. George couldn't connect with the shot. Griffin at the other end, all net.
Love that shot. Shortish, medium corner, inside out pivot, stroked it.
15 points for Kelsey Griffin. George has played every minute of this game. On one foot, she continues to battle hard. Pittman catches and shoots, can't get it to go, and Whitcomb wraps her arms around the basketball.
The shots just dried up for the Sydney Flames in this fourth quarter.
Burton cuts, is aggressive. Griffin reassesses. Ball back for Whitcomb. Griffin again, another mid-range. Let off there for Sydney, who trail by 13.
Might be time for a timeout. Just give your young team a breather, refocus.
Tapia might have been denied. Might have claimed it was a pass all the way along for Pittman, but Pittman missed. Played some big minutes tonight, Carla Pittman, 10 points for her. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Burton. Oh, Samuels, you don't want to leave her free for 3.
There's the timeout.
The timeout comes, though, after a Casey Samuels dagger 3 ball. And Bendigo with an 85-69 lead. Christmas comes early for the deadly 3-point shooter that is Casey Samuels, and she makes the Flames pay.
And I really hope there is an adjustment, and this breather, as you said, Graffy, gives the Flames another push for this, because if the Flames do lose this game, they don't deserve to lose by this much.
Talia, Bonnie. So when we come off, you hard 45 cut. All right, get the ball here. And when we go and set the ball, and we're driving, drive the other. I want you to reject the screen. Reject the screen. Got it? Go to the base. Now Pala. Pin back here. Talia. Running the gun action out of this. You'll be out. So Talia's here. Pala. Hand it off. Come back.
Still all business for the Sydney Flames. We just saw the array of players unavailable to play tonight, hovering around this young huddle. Connie D's a big part of that. The defensive and offensive performance from her. And now everything needs to go right for Sydney in these next 4.5 minutes to keep their season alive. Must score out of this timeout. D's, incredible handles. Unfortunately, didn't have the finish. And at the other end, Tolo had it knocked away by Brian Catasano.
Stayed on the plays again. It's youth versus experience. You know, Sammy Whitcomb, Burton finished those ones. These just couldn't quite get the finish. The $1 million move, not quite the $1 million finish.
Tapia knocks it out of bounds, and it's the Sydney ball. Nathan Stremple, what an atmosphere it must be courtside.
I tell you what, we talked about the resolve and the fight of this Sydney Flames group to play through injury. This Sydney Flames supporters are wild. There is young girls singing their hearts out to Taylor Swift during the break. But every time out, it's so hard to hear what the coach is saying, and I'm standing right next to them. It's great to see the Flames fighting right down to the wire.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan was joining in on those Taylor Swift tunes as well, as Pittman puts up the shot, but a shot clock violation is called, and Bendigo still now holding this 16-point advantage.
This last part of the mountains going to be tough for the Flames to climb from here. 16 down, under 4, and a couple of big hits. You can sense the fatigue. And the players are going to the rim, can't quite get the finish.
Fran Catasano, Burton make contact. Kelly Wilson back on the floor for Bendigo. Might be bound for another grand final. Samuels catches. Can't hit. Rebound for Pittman. Pittman with a crossover. George steps back. Must hit. Does hit.
Swish. Sweet for Kayla George.
Stepping up, Kayla G for 3. 15 points for her. Samuels, Burton. Samuels again. Tolo feeds Whitcomb. Gets him a little bit of space. Tolo must pass or shoots. She shoots and knocks it down.
With the left finish on the run over Kayla George. Big finish. Mariana Tolo.
Used up all, and then just as importantly, used up all the shot clock there. This time is starting to become an enemy of the Sydney Flames. 8 seconds on the shot clock as Burton knocks it out of bounds.
And it really is getting to a point for Sydney where defensively they're going to have to start taking some risks. You know, they could hover around this margin or they could take some risks and it could bring it back and give them a chance to take the game. Conversely, it could go the other way and blow the margin out.
George blinking, he would have missed that shot off the pass from Tapia. She misses. Just over 2.5 to play. 15 points.
The clock, Bendigo Spirit's friend here. We'll see them grind half-court offense. Work for a great shot.
Burton, Griffin misses. Oh, and a travel is going to be called against Brancatisano. Whitcomb identified it early and made sure the referee saw it too.
She mouthed travel that time.
Still fighting right to the end, Sydney.
Great little drop pass off the hip. Griffin to Whitcomb.
Dee still guarding Whitcomb, and she gets a little win there. She takes on the MVP. Supporter eyes from George. Burton to Tapia. Tapia keeps it alive. Dee's catches inside for George. 8 to shoot. George fades away. And nothing dropping for Sydney in the past couple of minutes.
Bendigo Spirit forcing Sydney Flames to hurry up and rush a little bit. They had pretty good coverage defensively.
And now are taking their time offensively, using the clock every second that they can. Kayla George looks like she's just pulled up a little bit sore out of that action.
Whitcomb was fouled. Brancatisano on the floor.
With her fourth.
Yep. 98 seconds remaining. Can never keep Sammy Whitcomb out of the game. Flames with 3 fouls in the fourth quarter. Whitcomb connects on both. A 17-point lead. Guy Malloy calls a timeout with his side trailing by 17 points. A side who has shown incredible youthful energy and enthusiasm at both ends of the floor. But Bendigo have found their groove and rhythm from the second quarter onwards and have set the tone for the rest of the game.
1 through to 5 here, we're black defensively, okay? On any pick and roll action where we'll be navigating.
Can we, like, put the feet, like, as she turns the corner, okay, look, and then, like, the very one just the one that okay. I don't mind fighting over, I just don't think we should switch if I'm going to fight over. Okay, let's put under there. Okay,
yeah. Next offense.
Bit of an insight there into the Bendigo timeout, where you've essentially got a lot of coaches on the floor already compared to Guy Malloy and Sydney, Zoe and Carrie. It's probably doing a lot of the talking as well. Kayla George, obviously a big part of that, but that's the difference in experience between these two lineups tonight. You already do have a lot of coaches on the floor.
Yeah, you can see there that, you know, Coach Kennedy Kerryama is more facilitating there because the athletes know what they're seeing and feeling on the floor. He has to take that on board, but down the other end of the floor, Coach Guy Malloy is more educating these young athletes, and they're their first sort of experience at this level and in a finals game.
Dees for George, 10 to shoot. Pittman with a real good look, in and out. She's had a couple of those three-pointers today. Dees is called for the foul. That is her fourth. It's the fourth on the Flames in this stanza.
Yeah, their perimeter shooting for the Sydney Flames in the second half has really dipped. I mean, they were shooting a phenomenal 60% from the three-point line in the first half. They've dropped it back down to a more than tidy 43%.
Again, the Flames have only used the 7 players today. They named Yamiah Morris, who's played a lot of minutes for Sydney, but has been carrying an injury. The fact that in the semi-final she hasn't played any minutes probably is an indication of how bad that injury is. Burton hits for 2. It's a 19-point lead. It certainly doesn't feel like a 19-point lead for Bendigo.
No credit to the Sydney Flames group. You know, this is much more like a 6, 8, 10-point game. The margin that it sort of hovered around for the bulk of the game.
Scoring, though, really has dried up in this fourth quarter. Just the 5 points for Sydney. And Bendigo have put on 16. Almost the complete opposite of what happened a few nights ago, where Sydney came with a rush and turned a 27-point margin into 9, ultimately in the end. Offensive foul is called on Bendigo. There's a couple of their bench players check in, including Asher Nightingale and Micah Simpson. What a glimpse of Bonnie Dees we've seen today. Her talent on display at both ends of the floor. Tapia for George, who's been mighty. Misses the 3. Pittman with a long rebound. George hits the floor. She is sore. She wanted someone in the corner, but there was no one there. Pittman has 4 to shoot. Takes on the defense and lays it in for 2.
And what an absolute warrior Kayla George has been. Have a look at her. We spoke about in game 1, she was on 1 foot. She's on half a foot right now, and she is still battling.
Bendigo ticked down towards full time. It comes off the feet of Kayla George, but for the first time since 2015, Bendigo are grand final bound. The best team all season were made to earn it in this second semi-final game, but a second and fourth quarter blitz sees them qualify for a grand final series against the Townsville Fire. Sydney brave right until the final minute, relentless until the final seconds, but ultimately this star-studded, experienced Bendigo roster too good at the right time of the season, Zoe and Carrie.
Yeah, they really stepped up. They got a fright early, but managed to bring it back through their offense, and then went to another level defensively, and again really took care of the ball. They only had 10 turnovers for the game, which as coaches you tend to set as a bit of a we will allow 10 turnovers. So it's a real testament to them. But hats off to the Sydney Flames and what they were able to do tonight, because I don't think any of us saw that coming.
Absolutely not. I mean, they climbed 3/4 of Mount Everest tonight. I mean, they jumped out of the gates. They weren't feeling like they had no oxygen. They were like powering up, but credit to them. But I got to say too, for the Bendigo spirit, you want a game like that going into the championship series. For mine, they don't want a 30-point blowout. They had a softer run into the end of the season. They played their last 5 games were against the bottom 4 teams. That to me, this is the sort of contest they actually want.
Great insight there. Sammy Whitcomb addressing her side. We'll hopefully have her very shortly with Nath courtside. There's a lot of relief, I reckon, a lot of joy. They have worked so hard right throughout this season. The regular season is a massive grind. They've done the grind better than anyone else so far, and thoroughly deserve on their body of work, Zoe, to be in that grand final series.
They do, and I think it's going to be an outstanding finals series. We saw Townsville just play another brand of basketball last night. And if Bendigo, they'll go away from this, they'll take the lessons out of it, and we're in for a great final series.
Those fixture details will be confirmed very shortly. Sammy Wickham, again, inspirational tonight for her Bendigo spirit, and she's with Nathan Stremple.
Sammy, they made you work for it. You only had 3 shots in the first quarter, but it was the second quarter where you personally and as a group, you really turned it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's finals, so everyone's, hungry. They're going to throw everything at it. We expected that. Not the start we wanted. They came out hot, couldn't miss. Really proud of our resilience and how we hung tough and just sort of worked through it. But yeah, absolutely. They threw everything at us, and I'm really proud of this win.
Let's talk toughness. You led all teams in rebounding with 10 boards, 22, 10 and 6 for yourself. You said before the game, I said, well done on being MVP. You said, I just want to win, and you're a big part of making that happen tonight.
Yeah, I do. I mean, those individual awards are great, but honestly, our team and how we've been all year, to me, has been the MVP. We have so many people step up collectively, the way we back each other, the way we don't put our head down when it's not going our way. That, to me, is why we're able to, be in a grand final now after this one season together. So I'm really proud of the group. And, yeah, it's going to be a tough dogfight, and we can't wait.
Before we talk about the grand final, let's talk about your group, because with so much experience, so many leaders, could be a case of too many chefs, but when the chips were down and we had to fight tonight, the collective leadership of the group was pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, and I know that saying, too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever they say, but we do a really good job of, when one person's speaking, we're listening. We want to hear what everybody has to say. There's a lot of experienced players, a lot of input, but we try to not overload each other as well. So if someone has something, that's their moment to say it. We kind of wait for our next moment. Nobody has to be heard. We just really want to get it right.
Well, that next moment's Wednesday. Last season, you were a Townsville Fire player, and now you play them in a grand final on Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, it's full circle moment in a weird way, I guess. But look, they've had a tremendous season. They're playing so well. I feel like, we've had a pretty good season. We're there as well. So I think it's going to be a really, really fun series. All the best for the grand final. Well done, Sammy. Thank you.
Great to have the inside of Sammy Wickham and Nathan Stremple. You can see from the smile on her face, she's pumped. She's had one of arguably her best individual season in the WNBL. This is her 7th season, but you can just see, Zoe, the absolute determination to get that maiden WNBL championship.
Definitely. She wants to bring that back to Bendigo, and you can see she loves playing with this team, the way she not only plays with them, but talks about them, and she's determined to get this done.
Career high field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage this year for Sammy Wickham. Averaged more points per game than any other season, Carrie. For tonight, the 14th time she's had 20 or more points in a game this season. It's been a consistent season, but consistent at an elite level.
And that's getting the best defender thrown at you every game, the longest defender, the most physical defender, rotation defenses thrown at you, traps, physicality. She still comes up with the numbers. Yeah. That's what's so impressive about her.
Well, Kennedy Kerryama has coached this team superbly all season. He'd be very happy, and he's with Nathan Stremple.
Well, Kennedy, it's your moment. You talked about a target on your back, but they threw some darts and a few of them landed, but you've got the chocolates in the end. You're through to a grand final.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're obviously really happy for the group. I think everyone knows you put 6-7 weeks of pre-season in. It's a grind the regular season just to be able to play post-season basketball. But I've really got to hand it to Sydney. They were in a tough position, backed into a corner. Players obviously out left, right and centre with injuries, and those players just did not roll over. They just stuck it to us the entire game, and that's what we wanted. We wanted a good, tough game. I think both teams expect that going into finals. So we're really, hats off to Sydney.
Yeah, you're talking about wanting a tough game. Their fight was incredible, and now you've had 2 tough semi-final games. 6 days break on Wednesday, game 1 in Bendigo against the Fire.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's Townsville have been playing great basketball. I think for us to compete or beat that team, we're going to have to be playing, probably, no disrespect to us, but we know we're honest with ourselves. We need to be playing better basketball if we want to compete with them. They've been playing really good basketball.
In terms of the job you did, I mentioned it to Sammy, with so much leadership amongst the group, there's that risk of too many cooks in the kitchen. But I thought tonight you saw when the Flames took it to you, collectively those leadership voices are really important for the spirit.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, we've got a lot of championship experience, finals experience with this group, and a lot of leadership. So I think the team do a great job of picking their moments as to when to, have their say, and I think people are even better at listening when they need to listen.
Well, Kennedy, well done. You led them to it. You've got the job done tonight. Enjoy it for the next few days. We'll see you in Bendigo on Wednesday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He looks like he's had a big night. Kennedy Carriarmer at the office, but Zoe, personally, you must be thrilled that he's been able to lead this team into a grand final series.
Yeah, it's great to see. Obviously, my heart is in Vic Country, so to see a Vic Country team take it to and a home WNBL grand final, it's wonderful and great for Kennedy Carriarmer too. He's worked quite hard, as have all the coaches, for the last few seasons, but to bring this team together is no easy feat. I think people underestimate just how hard that can be.
Let's have a look at some of our game highlights so far. Sydney led 31-23 at quarter time. Caro, we thought, is the biggest boil over, maybe not of the season, of recent seasons, on the cards as well. They came again in the third quarter, Sydney, but they were right in contention late. Bendigo just had a few more punches to throw in that last quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Their depth, I mean, and then just the ability for scorers to step up, a multitude of scorers. I mean, Kelly Wilson had 12 early in the game. Of course, Wickham then takes over with 22, but Tali Tapea, how good was she for Sydney? I mean, she led the way from them, from the front, big threes. She was impressive.
And Kayla George, 15, 6 and 6 on half a foot as well. She was brave right until the end. I think we'll probably get an indication of the extent of that foot injury. Also, Yamaya Morris in recent times as well. The extent of those injuries. Guy Malloy said I think he was flabbergasted when they officially did qualify for the finals, that they were able to achieve that, Zoe. It was a tight battle for fourth all the way throughout the season. Sydney earned that spot in the end, and they were brave in both games against Bendigo.
They definitely earned that spot, and they definitely showed us in these two games why they deserved it. And, it hurts to lose a game, but they should really hold their heads high for the performances under such adversity that they've put on in this final series.
And what a grand final series, Carrie, coming up, the Townsville Fire and Bendigo.
The two best defensive teams in the league, for my mind. Two that know how to play at pace or half court. Both know how to win. One's in slightly better form than the other. It's going to be a ripper.
And you'll have all the action on ESPN. And it starts all on Wednesday night. A special 30-minute pre-game show coming up on Wednesday night as Townsville and Bendigo kick off the grand final series. What a season it has been so far. And we've got at least two, maybe three games left as well. On behalf of Nathan Stremple, Carrie Graff, Zoe Carr, and our entire hardworking team behind the scenes, this is Ben Waterworth signing off. And the Bendigo Spirit are grand final bound for the first time since 2015. Good night.